We welcome you to Pringle Field on the campus of Riverdale High School for this Class 7A District 12 rivalry action in Fort Myers as the Naples Golden Eagles clash against the Riverdale Raiders. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. This is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play action of tonight's contest. We have just wrapped up a beautiful rendition of the national anthem, and as this ball game is about to see its beginning, let's give you the batting order of the Golden Eagles of Naples High School. Batting first, left fielder number 12, Darius Bradley. Batting second, the second baseman number 8, Trey Heiser. Third, it's the pitcher number 9, Corey Burning. Cleaning up in the order, designated hitter number 18, Parker Williams. Number 5 in the order, it's catcher number 6, Doug Bellinger. Batting 6, third baseman number 10, Marcus Perguri. In the 7th spot, first baseman number 14, Andrew Wright. Batting 8th, center fielder number 23, Michael Stedman. And batting last is the right fielder number 15, Dylan March. Your starting pitcher on the mound today for the Riverdale Raiders, currently throwing his warm-ups on the bump, is number 13, Trent Clark, releasing his pitches off of the right hand. And here, any time now, we will have your opening pitch as Darius Bradley approaches the left side of the batter's box. So Clark has thrown the last of his warm-ups, and we're just about set to go here on a very warm Thursday night here in Fort Myers. So everyone on this Raider defense, they are taking their positions, and here we go.
Golden Eagles left fielder number 12, Darius Bradley.
Darius Bradley once again playing as the left fielder here in the day's action as a righty in the box. Trent Clark gets the signal from the catcher Tyler Prell. The leg whip and fire is a bunt down the first base side. It's a race to first base, and a tag is applied by Carson Palmquist over on first as your opening deal of the ball game comes in at 7:02 p.m.
Batting next for Naples, second baseman number 8, Trey Heiser.
So Trey Heiser comes up. First pitch of the game is the first out of the evening. It's as simple as that, as Bradley tried to throw Clark off guard there with a bunt down the first base side. It was a very beautiful one at that, as Clark couldn't get to it. However, Carson Palmquist is able to get to it and make the tag on Bradley for out number 1 as a strike 1 comes right down the center of the plate for Trey Heiser. 0-1 coming through. There's another strike, 0-2. Top of the first, we are just underway from Riverdale High School. 0-0 score between Naples and Riverdale. Heiser takes a few moments to himself outside of the box and gets back into the left hand. Here comes his 0-2 on the way. It's a small chipper. Back behind second. Throw from Brendan McNabb will be in time. That's a 4-3 putout. 2 up, 2 down to start the top of the first for this Riverdale defense. Up comes Corey Burning from the on-deck circle.
Batting next for the Golden Eagles, pitcher number 9, Corey Burning.
And making a great beat on that play was Brendan McNabb, able to jump off to his right side, gets right behind the second base bag, and that ball met him there. He's able to yank it forward to Palmquist as Riverdale, they're looking very sharp and alert in the early stages of this action. Here's a pitch low and away for ball 1. Here at Riverdale, we are calling this game once again without a working scoreboard, but I do have word from Riverdale baseball head coach Bobby Pringle that we will have one in by the end of the season. Corey Burning takes his first strike of the at-bat. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the deal on the way. That's chipped over the glove of the Riverdale third baseman Michael Connor. Out to shallow left field it will go. That's the first hit of the ball game for Naples as Corey Burning notches a base knock. Here comes the cleanup man Parker Williams. Correction, there is a courtesy runner on the way here. Let's take a look at who that is.
Whiskey. Now running at first base, number 3, Whiskey. Your next batter, designated hitter, number 18, Parker Williams.
So here's Parker Williams coming up to the plate, and we do have a courtesy runner over on first. As of right now, we identify him as Whiskey, as our batting orders for Naples do not have first names on them. We were able to get the main batting order and the starters of the game, but not the substitutes. So excuse us on that. Parker Williams starts his at-bat 1-0. Next one on the way just misses on the outside corner. 2-0. Top of the first and no score between Naples and Riverdale. Here's Trent Clark with another throw, and that gets Williams right on the left shoulder. Naples now has 2 men on as a result of that hit by pitch. Doug Bellinger now follows up.
Next batter for Naples, catcher number 6, Doug Bellinger.
Very nice crowd on hand here in the early stages of this action. Riverdale fan section down the first base line getting a nice crowd on hand. Same for down the left field line where the Naples fans are sitting, making the trip from Collier County, just south of Lee County, about 45 minutes away from Fort Myers is the distance between Naples and Fort Myers, to be exact. Doug Bellinger starts off 1-0 at the plate. Clark eyes the runner over on second. That's Whiskey yet again. And here's a strike coming in at the knees. Trent Clark looking very calm on the mound. Here's a throw over the first base, and there's an interesting call from the umpire over on second base. It was a pitch in the dirt, which makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike for Doug Bellinger, but Prell made a beautiful throw from home plate over the first where Carson Palmquist is stationed. And visually, from the press box, it looked like he really beat out that first base runner, Parker Williams, but the umpiring crew disagrees. Right now we have a gathering after Coach Bob Pringle was able to come out and argue his case for RHS. So let's see what direction this goes, and it's reversed. The call over at first is an out after a few moments of discussion. And as we head to the home half of the first, your score is 0-0 between Riverdale and Naples. Daniel Kaler makes his way up to the plate as we reach your home half of the first, where your score is 0-0 between the Raiders and the Golden Eagles of Naples High School.
He's number 1, Daniel Kaler.
And in just moments, we will give you the batting order of the Riverdale Raiders to start today's action. Lots of encouragement coming from the Raider benches down the first base side as Kaler takes a strike at the knees. Well, we ended your top half of the first off of a very controversial call at the top half of the first. It was a tag out over at first with Parker Williams getting eliminated. Here's a foul to the backstop. Count now, no balls and 2 strikes to Daniel Kaler at the plate. Well, at first, second base umpire, he saw it as Williams being safe over on first. So Coach Pringle came out. He seemed very calm, and he requested that it be discussed. Ball 1 high and dry. Count now 1-2. Well, anyways, the home plate umpire got with the umpire over on second. They discussed it out, and they came together and changed it as an out over on first. A nice pickoff with the throw coming from Tyler Perrell over at home plate. Here's a hack and a miss for Daniel Kaler. He goes down with a forwards K and the scorebooks, and Tyler Gertman comes up next. Well, after we went to a break, we saw Jimmy Nocera, the Naples manager, come out, and he was very upset at the call, but either way, it remained an out, and here is a safe call for Tyler Gertman, who dove onto the first base bag off of a bouncer that went straight to the third baseman for Naples, Marcus Perguri. No error. That's a nice infield base hit for Gertman. He's the first base runner of the game for the Raiders here at the home half of the first. No score.
Now batting for your Raiders, left fielder, number 8, Matisse Bober.
And Matisse Bober follows up as the third man in the order. Here's his opening pitch. It's a bouncer on the infield, right side. 4-6-3. Is that a double play? Yes, it is. And we retire the sides. That's a quick first inning with a 4-6-3 double play. Well, before we head to break, we'll quickly give you that batting order. So Kaler, Gertman, and Bober were the 3-men due-up. Cleaning up is Matt Hardy in the number 4 spot. He's the center fielder, number 9. Carson Palmquist is the first baseman, number 10. Batting 6, it's Tyler Perrell, the catcher, number 7. In the 7th spot, it's Trevor Peckham, the designated hitter, number 2. Batting 8th, it's Michael Connor, third baseman, number 4. And Brennan McNabb rounds out the order. Second baseman, number 3. We'll come back with a break and your second inning of play. No score between the Raiders and Golden Eagles. The 5, 6, and 7 spots are due up at the top of inning number 2. Nothing between Naples and Riverdale. Live from Pringle Field on the campus of RHS in Fort Myers, Florida. Here's Bellinger with a ball 1 low in the dirt. Hack and a miss to tie up the count at 1-1. Trent Clark back up on the mound for his second inning of work as the Riverdale starting pitcher. Here's the next one on the way. That's fouled for strike 2. It gets back here towards the press box, and it bangs up against the safety netting. Riverdale here in this ball game. They are dressing in their garnet red uniforms. White script Raiders across the chest, white numbers on the back, gray pants. Almost every player out on the field for the Raider defense right now, they are sporting the garnet red high socks and the garnet red caps. White script R down the center for Riverdale. Count advances to 2 balls and 1 strike for Doug Bellinger. Oh, and this got him. It looks like that made connection with him. Trying to see where that hit him. It looked like the front of the helmet.
37. Hansen.
He is okay, but that is scary when you take one to the head like that.
Hansen. Next batter for the Golden Eagles, third baseman number 10, Marcus Perguri.
Marcus Perguri is now called up next to the plate after Doug Bellinger, once again just moments ago, was hit right off the tip of the helmet. Hansen is your runner over on first, and here's a throwing botch as the ball gets away from Carson Palmquist down the first base side. Here's Hansen jumping on to second base. So a little bit of a rough start here for the Raiders at the top half of the second. Once again, no runs scored between either of these teams. So Prell comes up to the mound for a brief conversation with Trent Clark. Prell heads back to the batter's box, crouches down as the catcher for Riverdale. So Naples with a nice opportunity to draw first blood here at the top of the second here in this scoreless contest. Here's Clark looking over at second, and he will delay the upcoming deal as he looks over at second, where Hansen gets back in time on his feet. Thank you all for tuning in to the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. Nick Rush giving you the call of the action. Here's that leg whip and fire from Clark. Bunt signaled. This goes to Palmquist. He missed the tag. Throws the first where Brendan McNabb covers. And there is the out. Nice quick thinking there for the Riverdale Raiders. That's a 3-4 put out in the scorebooks. And it's out number one here at the top of the second. That runner Hansen makes his way over to third.
Andrew Wright.
So Andrew Wright now has a nice opportunity here in the box with a runner over on third. Just about 90 feet away, as here's a bouncer on the infielder. Daniel Kaler with a throw to the first baseman Palmquist. That'll be a 6-3 as Daniel Kaler is playing in the shortstop position tonight. 2 down. And Michael Stedman is the fourth man due up here at the top of the second. Still a 0-0 score, and out comes Coach Pringle here to talk with Daniel Kaler over on the shortstop position. It's very brief.
To the point.
It was to the point, not so sure what it was about. But either way, everyone remains still out there on the field. So once again, Stedman's at the plate. Pringle heads back to the dugout on the first base side for the Raiders. And Daniel Kaler is pacing around into shortstop. Here's a nice heater getting in there. Hack and a miss for strike one on Michael Stedman, the Naples center fielder here in today's ball game. You have the courtesy runner Hansen over on third base. He could make it a 1-0 lead potentially for Naples. Here's one that bounces off home plate. Trent Clark, as he moves on here in this ball game as a starting pitcher, he's starting to get more confident and he's throwing more quickly with his windups. Here's a ball too that almost clips Stedman off the right shoulder. 2-1 is the count to him. Time called here by Michael Stedman. And he has a 2-1 count, so he is ahead in this at-bat right now. No need to worry, but he may be feeling some pressure with 2 outs. He wants to contribute, and he wants to put his team on top first. Here's a strike 2 on the inside edge. Count now 2-2. So with 2 outs, Trent Clark looking to retire the top of the second right here on this next deal. Let's see if he can do it. Here's the deuce. Up and away. Count now full. Very nice night here at Pringle Field. It's 77 degrees. A very slight breeze. Payoff, and that banks him off of the left shoulder. Here's Michael Stedman making his way to first as the Golden Eagles now have men around the corners. And here's Dylan March, the 9th man in the Naples batting order.
Naples right fielder number 15, Dylan March.
So Trent Clark doing a nice job here at the top half of the second as the Riverdale starting pitcher once again, but he's having a hard time controlling his deals. Michael Stedman, he is the 3rd player that Clark has hit with a pitch thus far. And those are all pitches high up there in the corner. So March steps in as a right-handed hitter. Has a good eye here as a ball 1 comes through. Wind blowing at 10 miles per hour here at Riverdale High School. Just very gently at the moment from right to left across your computer screen. 59% humidity and no chance of precipitation. That's never a bad thing to hear that if you're a baseball fan. Here's another one just outside. 2-0 count to Dylan March. Clark kicks up the leg rather, and misses yet again. 3 straight pitches outside here to Dylan March. Another one that misses the strike plate will result in the bases getting loaded. We are still scoreless at the top stage of inning number 2. Right now, Riverdale has some action in the bullpen right now down the first base side. 3-0 just gets in by a thread. And the Riverdale fans love to hear the sound of that strike call by the home plate umpire. Count advances to 3 balls and 1 strike. Count now full with a fastball right down the center of the plate.
All right, come on, kid. Money pitcher.
So you have Hansen, the courtesy runner over on third, who's on for Doug Bellinger, and Michael Stedman is leaning over off of first base with a very modest leadoff. And you can't blame him. There's 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Home half of the second we go with another 2 men stranded on for Naples. We're scoreless. Home half of the second on the way after this break.
Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy comes up to the plate. 4, 5, and 6 spots due up for the Raiders. Home half of the second, where we have no score from Pringle Field. And Hardy takes one very close, ball 1. Corey Burning, number 9, is once again the starting pitcher for Naples here in today's ball game. And he has been throwing his windups very aggressive. I was watching him just moments ago during our previous break, and he was absolutely whipping the ball to the catcher, Doug Bellinger. And here's a fly out to right field as Hardy goes down for the first out of the bottom half of the inning. Here's Carson Palmquist up for his first at-bat of the action.
Next batter for the Raiders, first baseman, number 10, Carson Palmquist.
Corey Burning, he is sporting the Naples road dark blue uniforms. Here's a strike 1 coming on the way to Carson Palmquist. Their dark blue uniforms, gold script Naples across the chest, gold numbers on the front and back, dark blue hats and caps. White script and on the center of the caps for Naples. So here's Palmquist taking a few moments out of the box off of a timeout call. Here's his next pitch. He dodges it. Ball. Carson Palmquist, he had a busy Tuesday night. Takes a rip at this one, but can't find any connection. 1-2 count to Carson Palmquist. Underway here at the top of the second, 0-0 score. Palmquist, he was the starting pitcher and also batted in the 7th spot of last Tuesday night's action against the Gulf Coast Sharks. Count is now locked up at 2 apiece as this just gets outside barely. It's a matter of inches that time around. Palmquist, he was 1 for 2 in that game. Or 1 for 3, you can make it. Count now full as this comes in through the opposite end. He had a base hit at the bottom of the second in that game, but also had a strikeout and a ground out. And that wrapped up his night in the batter's box. He also threw 6 innings of that game, which was a 4-0 loss for the Raiders. Gulf Coast was able to take the shutout. More on that game in just a moment, as Palmquist lights one out to center field. That's a nice base knock for the Raiders. Up comes Tyler Prell.
Your next Raider batter, catcher number 7, Tyler Prell.
And it was a very fast-paced moving game. It only lasted about 2 hours. Started right on time at 7 o'clock. Ended at around 8:58 with the final pitch of the game. It was scoreless back and forth until the top half of the 6th inning as Prell takes a strike 1 at the knees. Well, top of the 6th, Gulf Coast notched 1 run home. Top of the 7th, they sent 3 other players home to score. Interesting thing about that is that Gulf Coast, at the end of the game, they scored 4 runs off of a pair of hits and no errors. Riverdale had no runs off of 3 hits and 2 errors. So Riverdale led in the hits category but couldn't get anything going in the runs department as Prell gets one off the left knee. He'll take a free ride to first base. 2 men now on for the Raiders, and here comes Colby Davis.
Runner number 17, Colby Davis. Batting next for the Raiders, your designated hitter, number 2, Trevor Peckham.
So to be exact, Colby Davis is a courtesy runner over on first base for the Raiders. Trevor Peckham now leans in to the plate. So 2 on, 1 out for the Raiders. Bottom half of the second and a 0-0 score between Riverdale and Naples. Here's a nice curveball slurving in there. Strike 1.
Nice curve.
Right now, Corey Burning looking dominant on the mound here for Naples. Off to a nice start on the evening. However, he has had his flaws. Rips another one home. It's a small bouncer right side of the infield, and it is bounced out of fair play just in front of the Raider dugout. Peckham starts off with a quick 0-2 count. Standing on deck right now for the Raiders is Michael Connor. Special night for him. It's the first game of the season where he has been featured in the starting batting order for the Raiders. Until this point, he has shown his speed on the base pads as a courtesy runner for the most part, and this just gets high up in the corners outside. So Peckham stays alive with a ball and 2 strikes. Peckham with a batting stance not too flashy, has a slight crouch, holding it over his head. And here's an interesting call, and it is registered as a ball 2. Yeah, just missed a corner there, as it was another nice curveball there from Burning. So here's a deuce on the way to Trevor Peckham. Fans getting loud, very energetic atmosphere as this is bolted down first. It's a dead ball. Another 2-2 on the way here in just moments.
Get it home, go get the damn ball.
Here's an off-speed pitch, another one shot down first, and it's a dead ball yet again. So right now, Peckham, he's trying to bite off wherever he can chew at the plate at this time. And he's struggling. Thus far, the ones he's been able to just chip off, he's just been barely able to do it right off the tip of the bat. He's still not giving up another one on the way. It's a high flyer out to left field. Is it fair? Yes, it is. It bounces down, played off of the one hop by the Naples left fielder, Darius Bradley. And the bags are now juiced for the Raiders off of a Trevor Peckham base hit.
Next batter, third baseman, number 4, Michael Connor.
And Michael Connor, what a moment for him to make his first at-bat in this game. Once again, he's a player that's thus far, he has been more as a courtesy runner than anything for Riverdale, but what a way to introduce him to some pressure in the game of baseball as he starts off with a strike 1. Yet another curveball there by Corey Burning.
He's feasting him right now. That's what he's throwing. A lot of curves.
Right now, Connor, he's viciously waving the bat over his head. He's a right-handed swinger, and there's a strike 2, which Connor watches go by. I think we have a bottle of water that dropped here in the press box or something.
Yeah, we're okay.
We're all okay.
We're all okay.
Yep. Here's that 0-2. Oh, it got Connor right off the helmet. Everyone advances, and that brings home a runner to score. It's 1-0 Raiders at the home half of the second. Coming in to score is Carson Palmquist from third. And Michael Connor, he's trying to shake it off. That hit him right on the left side of the helmet, but it looks like the trainer for Riverdale is coming out to check on him, and he is okay. Here comes Brendan McNabb, hoping to do some more damage.
Number 3, Brendan McNabb.
McNabb with the bases loaded yet again. 1 out. It's now a 1-0 Raider lead, bottom of the second. 0-1 is Brendan McNabb to start off this at-bat. It's his first of the game.
They got nobody warming up, so he's going with his kid through the inning.
Here's another one ripped home. It's a pop-up making its way out to shallow center field. What's going on? It's caught out at center, and everyone has held on to base pads, so that stands as an F8 in the scorebooks, and Brendan McNabb cannot put down the sac fly. Top of the order we go with Daniel Kaler.
Next batter for your Raiders, shortstop, number 1, Daniel Kaler.
Daniel Kaler, he's one of the fan favorites on this team. You can always find him at the top of the order because he knows how to start things off with a bang at the plate. There's a very close one that's called as a strike by the home plate umpire.
Come on, let me get one more cross. Get one more cross, guys. Come on.
Daniel Kaler with a nice crouch, trying to make the batter's box, or the strike zone rather, just a bit smaller, and the fans don't approve of that strike 2 call. Kaler doesn't so much either as he storms out of the box in protest. He gets back in, facing a no-ball, 2-strike count. Bottom of the second, Raiders up by 1 yet again, bases loaded. The 0-2 just barely gets outside. Raiders with some nice explosives here at the home half of the second, as they are really capitalizing off of the mistakes of Corey Burning up on the mound for Naples. Kaler back in there. Here's the deal. Sparked out to first base, and it is caught by Andrew Wright, the Naples first baseman. So it's an F3 in the scorebooks, but the Raiders lead 1-0, with Michael Connor getting hit by a pitch that brought home Carson Palmquist from third off of a bases-loaded situation. So we head to the top of the third, Raiders up by a sole run. Darius Bradley begins the top half of the third as the Riverdale Raiders lead 1-0 over the Naples Golden Eagles. This just barely misses Bradley by inches. A pitch from Trent Clark, that's called a ball one. So top of the order we go here for Naples. And another one gets down in the dirt.
Come on, Trent.
Home half of the second, you had Michael Connor come up to the plate with a bases-loaded situation. He got hit on the helmet with a pitch, which brought home Carson Palmquist from third, and that's how the Raiders got on top. Count now 3-0 to Bradley. We thank you fans for tuning in on this Thursday evening. Nick Rush giving you the call on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Here's a strike one up on the inside corner, and Darius Bradley was already making his way to first base. He had a nice bat flip there, just tossing a stick down the first base line towards the Naples dugout, and this misses for sure. Here comes Darius Bradley with the free ride to base number one. Trey Heiser now we'll see his turn.
Trey Heiser.
It's his second at-bat of the ball game, 0 for 1 on the day with a 4-3 put out back at the top of the first inning. Here's Bradley over on first base, taking a modest lead off. Clark winds it over the first. It almost gets away from Palmquist. He loses control, but he quickly regains control. And good thing for the Raiders that it didn't get away that time around. Otherwise, Bradley could have made his way over the second with plenty of time. Clark gets the nod, sends it home, chipped over to the shortstop, Daniel Taylor. Tries to gun it over the first to Palmquist, but the throw is not in time. Riverdale settles for one down that time with Trey Heiser flying out.
Now batting for Naples, pitcher number 9, Corey Burning.
And now it's up to Corey Burning here with 1 on and 1 out. Riverdale up 1-0, top of the third. Certainly is a great night for baseball. Couldn't ask for a better atmosphere. Nice and energetic here at Pringle Field for these two rivals as a part of Class 7A District 12. That division consists of 8 different schools. That includes Gulf Coast, Palmetto Ridge, Estero, Naples, South Fort Myers, Lehigh, East Lee County, and Riverdale. Quite a mouthful there. Riverdale is in 6th place. Naples is in 4th. Here's a pitch outside. Throw to second is way in time. And Bradley is gunned down over at second, trying to steal with a slide. So that puts 2 down here for Corey Burning, still up at the plate. Once again, the starting pitcher here in this action for Naples.
1 ball, no strikes.
So here comes the 1-0 on the way in just moments. Trent Clark Has the opportunity to clear his head now with no man on. Oh, a little bit of an error there by McNabb over on second, but he regains himself with a throw over to second in time. It's a 4-3. 3 come up, and 3 go down just like that. Here's the bottom of the third, coming in just moments. Raiders up by 1 over Naples.
Tyler Gertman!
Bottom of the third, here we come. Tyler Gertman is at the dish. Raiders with a 1-0 lead as Gertman takes a check swing and a miss, strike 1. Corey Burning up on the mound, kicks his leg up high, and that is just absolutely slammed down the first base side and out of the playing field. Count quickly turns to 0-2 for Tyler Gertman. Riverdale hoping to keep the momentum up as they scored their opening run at the bottom of the second. And they brought up 7 men to the plate. They were able to load up the bases, but only 1 comes through to cash in a run. Next one is a strike 3. A nasty off-speed pitch gets in on the inside corner. Backwards K in the books for Tyler Gertman.
Now batting left fielder, number 8, Matisse Bober.
And it's Matisse Bober coming up from the front of the dugout. Oh, he slaps the first one he sees deep out to center field to the warning track. And it is gloved down with a wonderful catch by Michael Stedman. And he had to keep backtracking to get to that one. But hey, the work pays off. 2 down for the Raiders.
Your next Raider batter, center fielder, number 9, Matt Hardy.
And Matt Hardy gets called out. Here he comes. Flew out to right field in his last at-bat, home half of the second. Strike 1. Matt Hardy, a junior on this Riverdale ball club. 3rd year with the varsity team, as this just barely misses down below. Corey Burning holds his glove above his head, brings it home with a curve that just dodges the strike zone. Nothing wrong with an energetic ball game here tonight. Here's a strike ringing up and through. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count for Matt Hardy on the way.
Guess what the count is?
Hardy calls out. Well, you know, very often here at Pringle Field, there are points of the game where the fans can really get quiet. They're so fixated on the game. Right now, they are joining the Raider players in the dugout to make some noise. This is a bumper going to the left side of the infield. Goes to the shortstop. It's a 6-3 to wrap things up. It's a 3-up, 3-down for the Raiders. But they end the third with that 1-run advantage. More baseball to come right after this. Parker Williams starts off your 4th inning at the plate as Naples is down to Riverdale 1-0. Williams standing in nice and tall. He's the designated hitter. And a ball 1 just barely gets wide. Parker Williams, he was hit by a pitch back in that 1st inning. Count advances to 2 balls and no strikes. Trent Clark still up on the mound. And he is a very confident pitcher. It's very difficult to read his emotions up on the mound. And that's a very positive trait that you won as a pitcher, 3-0. Because that way, if you're in a tough situation where you're getting frustrated, the opposing team batting, they can read that right off of you and they can find a way to take advantage, as Parker Williams makes his way to first with a leadoff walk off of 4 pitches. That's the second walk of the game thrown by Trent Clark. And it's Doug Bellinger back at it again. Here's a short meeting on the mound here with a few of the Raider infielders. And it's a courtesy runner over on first for Naples.
24? I got no 24 on the roster. Nowhere.
Number 24 is over on first, and it looks like we don't have a 24 on the Naples game roster. So we'll refer to him as number 24. Why not? Here comes Bellinger.
Next batter for the Golden Eagles, catcher number 6, Doug Bellinger. Yeah, we don't have any cheap seats tonight.
Here's a strike 1. Well, back towards the beginning of the game, I thought I saw a couple of fans out there in the cheap seats. About 3 fans is what I counted out there, out the left center, but right now they're nowhere to be found. Very unfortunate. More on that in just a moment. It's wide. Throw to first is close, but not in time. Count 1-1 here to Bellinger. Well, for some listeners out there who may not be as familiar with the cheap seats, it's out in center field over the wall, and they're actually bleachers that are a part of Carl Engel Field, which is primarily used as the complex of the Riverdale football team. Fly out to right field here. Down goes Bellinger. And number 24 remains over on first. Marcus Perguri now has some work to do at the dish.
Next batter for Naples, third baseman number 10, Marcus Perguri.
Well, anyways, the fans go out to Carl Engel Field, which, by the way, is used for more than football. Additionally, it's used for soccer in the winter and lacrosse in the spring. Track and field as well to add on to that. So it gets some very nice use throughout the school year. Perguri with a ball 1. No action out there tonight at Carl Engel. So if any fans would like to check out the game for no cost, then they can make their way out to the top steps of those bleachers, which is out to center field. They can look over the railing and see the game. And it's almost like you're watching a game from center field. If you're at a Major League Baseball game, for instance, in a large stadium, that's almost what it's like. I hear it's not a bad view. This is chipped back towards us in the press box. Foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to Marcus Perguri. 1 out and 1 man on. Top of the 4th here with Naples up to bat. They have no runs thus far in the game, and they are down by a single run to the Riverdale Raiders. And the cheap seats, those have been popular for many, many seasons. I actually saw a picture from back in, I want to say it was the 2014 season, as this is chalked down the left field line foul. Count now 1-2 to Perguri. Well, back in the 2014 season, there was a district playoff game here at Riverdale where the top row of the bleachers, otherwise known as the cheap seats, they were lined up all the way down the row. It's quite the experience. They really add to the energy out there. I believe I see some activity out there actually out in left center. Yep, sure enough. I see 3 people. They have returned. And here's a return of the strikeouts by Trent Clark as he rings up Pergery looking. There's out number 2. Andrew Wright now digs in.
Now batting for the Golden Eagles, first baseman number 14, Andrew Wright.
Well, hey, who doesn't love free baseball, as they call it? Trying to check his swing that time around was right. Makes the smart decision by holding back as it's called a ball 1. Right, the 4th batter here at the top of inning number 4. Here's Clark with the wheel and deal. Another pitch, which is held back by Wright. And it's yet another one outside, 2-0. One on first, 2 out, yet again. 1-0 Riverdale advantage as this next one plummets in the dirt. 3-0 to Andrew Wright. Clark.
Coach Friedak?
No, it's not.
Clark trying to dig himself out of a hole right now. With the 3-0 count, does it get in? Yes, it does. Just by a thread for strike 1. And Trent Clark, he is really zoning in to his catcher Tyler Prell right now, making sure that the signals are clear. He really is a powerful force up on the mound. Hurls it to home, and that's a foul ball. Bounces off the Raider dugouts down first base. Wright steps in, leg whip and fire, and he got him with a nice heater in the upper corner. It's another backwards K. Back-to-back punch-outs for Trent Clark. Wraps up the top of the 4th. Bottom half on the way with the Raiders up by a run. Raiders head back to swinging the sticks. Bottom of the 4th we go. Raiders up by a single run as here comes Carson Palmquist up to the plate. He'll take a pitch low and away. And a strike follows up. Right now we had a little bit of smoke rolling over the Raider baseball complex, otherwise known as Pringle Field. And we realized it's the Raider Grill near the concession stands. We were trying to figure out what that was. Count out 2-1 here to Carson Palmquist. Occasionally during nighttime games, it's not unusual to see a little bit of fog rolling in from the outfields. We don't see any, however, as of just yet. Here's the whirl, twirl, and hurl. A very close strike call ringing in there, near the shoulders of Palmquist. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That must have nicked the inside corner. Making him get shaved by a razor.
Here's the 2-2, skips it straight to the second baseman, which is Trey Heiser. Makes a clean throw to first to beat out Palmquist. There's out number 1.
Now,
Tyler Prell is your next batter.
7, Tyler Prell.
Prell, he is a player that is very versatile in the game of baseball. begins 0-1. Ooh, a nice curveball getting right down the center of the zone. Burning up on the mound. He has been threatening the Riverdale bats with that nasty curveball all night long. 0-1. Close but gets in. 0-2 to Tyler Prell. Now Prell, he is your catcher for the Riverdale Raiders. However, he has previously seen action as a third baseman, especially back in his freshman year. He's a junior, his third year with the varsity ball club, so back as a freshman, his primary position was the third baseman. Takes his first ball of this at-bat. And those are the type of players that you want on your team. This just skips a few inches away from Prell. Ball 2. He also has 2 strikes that he's dealing with at the moment. Prell steps out. Well, another Raider baseball news today, earlier at 4 p.m. That was the start of the JV baseball team for Riverdale, where they defeated the Naples JV team by a 5-1 final score. Big congratulations to them. Count remains 2-2, with one bunted down first base side. Wasn't a bunt, more of a check swing rather. Riverdale JV baseball, they are now 7-0 on the 2017 regular season. Bright future here for the varsity team. Prell waves and he misses. Forwards K there for Prell, as Peckham now hopes to get on base.
Next batter, designated hitter, number 2, Trevor Peckham.
Trevor Peckham had a nice looper at the home half of the second, which got down out in left field for a base hit. This is a skyscraper down the third base side, and nobody's able to get to it. 0-1. Riverdale up over Naples, 1-0 at the moment. Here at the bottom half of the fourth, you are listening to the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday night. More of a humid atmosphere here, getting in towards the middle of March. The next delivery gets down at the feet of Peckham for a ball 1. And it's interesting because the preseason to the baseball season, it consists of 1 week. In that 1 week span, teams, if they participate in a preseason at all, it usually consists of a pair of games. Peckham has a fouled bunt go back behind the plate. 1-2 is his count at the moment. So it's the first week of February, usually when you have the high school baseball preseason week, and around that time you still have that nice cool weather in southwest Florida. Now this time of year, that's when things start to get much warmer. Here's a wacky tapper down the left field line that deflected off the tip of the bat of Peckham and off the face mask of the Naples catcher, Doug Bellinger. So here's Peckham, very lengthy at-bat here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the next one on the way, and he gets lit up looking. Another 3 up, 3 down for the Raider bats, but they're still in control heading into your 5th. It's Naples 0, Riverdale 1. Stedman steps up to the plate as we ring in your 5th inning. Raiders 1, Naples 0. Here's a ball 1 coming through to Stedman. This game has been moving along for both of these teams in what has been a nice pitcher's duel battle thus far. Next one on the way is a strike. Before that, a ball was called just low and away. Count now 2-1 to Stedman, as Colby Davis is your new pitcher up on the mound for the Raiders. And there's strike 2.
Working quite fast.
Colby Davis, he is working very quickly in between his deliveries. Wearing number 17, delivering his deals off of the left hand. And this is high and dry. Count now full to Michael Stedman. And Trent Clark, he really had himself a day, throwing 4 full innings. And he's able to finish it off with no runs allowed against Naples. But this is an infield hit, as rushing to it in front of second base was Daniel Kaler. He picked it off the bare hand, but couldn't deliver a throw over the first. So Stedman makes his way over to first. And here is Dylan March. Here comes the first pitch to March. Threatens for a bunt. It's wide. Throw to the first. Is not in time.
Can you swing at that? Is that ball?
And right now there's a little bit of questioning on whether March swung off of that. It was a check swing. And it's officially called ball 1. Well, these two teams, they are no stranger to each other, as they played just last month. February 22nd at Terry Park. Here's another fake bunt throw to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. Carson Palmquist lays the tag down on Michael Stedman to pick him off of first base. There's out number 1 here at the top of the 5th. And I believe that was another one that missed a strike zone there for Dylan March.
Strike. I think he offered.
Correction, it was a strike.
Yeah, he offered.
And it is 1-1 your count. Here's a chipper down left. Foul ball for strike 2. Well, that game at Terry Park between Naples and Riverdale was a part of the annual Early Bird Tournament to begin the season. It was a high-scoring matchup that eventually led to a Riverdale 6-5 victory in 7 innings. That seems like a very different game to what we're seeing right now, as Dylan March rides some pine after swinging and missing. It's his second strikeout of the ball game, both of them swinging. Here's Darius Bradley
Next batter
with his next at-bat.
The Golden Eagles. Top of the order, left fielder number 12, Darius Bradley.
So 2 down, no men on for Naples. Still down by a 0-1 score. Nice curve here from Colby Davis.
Pretty.
Here's another strike on the way. That time it's a nice off-speed. Neither of those previous 2 pitches were swung at by Darius Bradley. Can he finish him off right here? No, not just yet. Ball. Yeah, that just barely got off. And you saw Colby Davis get off the mound. He was already walking to the dugout.
He thought he had it. Yep. Thought he had that third strike.
Can he get it this time around? Well, it's a pop-up. I would say it's a yes. Let's wait. It is caught. Carson Palmquist, the first baseman, getting in front of the pitcher's mound to seal the deal. 3 come up, and 3 are retired. Bottom of the 5th coming your way. It's a 1-score difference. Raiders still on top. It's been a fast-paced game as we are already meeting the home half of the 5th. Here's Michael Connor at the plate to start things off. Riverdale up In a pitcher's duel meeting thus far, it's a 1-0 score as Connor blasts the first pitch towards the backstop, 0-1. Right now we have some other athletic action going on here at Riverdale tonight. Besides baseball, over the left field wall we can see the Riverdale softball field as they are taking on the Naples program. Riverdale currently trails 5-6 in the 6th inning over there, as we can just see the scoreboard from our position.
6th inning.
6th inning.
They're in the 6th inning. It's Naples 5, Riverdale 2.
Okay, Naples 5, Riverdale 2. Like I said, we're just barely reading it from all the way out here.
Yeah.
So it's
5-2 Naples.
Okay, 5-2 Naples. Glad we got that cleared up. It's far out there, but we're just able to see that scoreboard bright as this just misses to Michael Connor. Count now 1 ball and 1 strike to Connor. Or correction, it was a 1-2, excuse me, and he hacks and misses. Connor sits down off of a swinging strikeout.
Now batting, second baseman number 3, Brendan McNabb.
Here's Brendan McNabb making his move up. And if you count the stats from the home half of the 4th, Corey Burning, the pitcher on the mound for Naples, he has 3 punch-outs in a row. 3 looking at the bottom of the 4th off of Tyler Prell and Trevor Peckham. And there's one to start the bottom of the 5th by Michael Connor. Brendan McNabb with a strike 1.
Seems to be getting stronger.
Here's the 0-1. Oh, nice curveball yet again. Corey Burning flashing that curveball all night long. Off the right hand, this one will come off. Just gets in. Down goes Brendan McNabb off of 3 pitches. That's now 4 punch-outs in a row for Burning.
Your next Raider batter, shortstop, he's number 1, Daniel Kaler.
Top of the order we go with Daniel Kaler. Overall, Burning has 6 strikeouts on today for Naples, and he is the starting pitcher for Naples here in this game. First offering to Kaler just misses low. Kaler twirls the bat over his head in small circles as this tees off the tip of the bat. Into the safety netting it goes. 1-1 to Kaler. Raiders are able to get the sole run of this game thus far at the home half of the 2nd. Bases loaded, and it was a hit by pitch off of Michael Connor, which sent home Carson Palmquist to score. But after that, Riverdale has started to freeze up a bit in the batter's box. Here's a strike 2 tossed into Kaler, which he does not respond to with a swing. So he holds back that time around. Burning trying to get him. He won't be able to do it just yet, as this is a tapper down right field. Stays out of fair territory. Daniel Kaler trying to keep this home half of the 5th alive. He gets a nice skyscraper down right field, and that gets out of the baseball complex. Burning, looking focused on the mound, and Kaler calls time. Only for a quick moment. Takes a practice swing, gets back into the left side of the dish. Here comes his 1-2 from Burning. It's a chopper from the shortstop to the first baseman. That wrapped things up. No hits still for Riverdale at the bottom of the 5th, but that one-run lead keeps Riverdale going into inning number 6, which comes after this break on the Riverdale Raiders broadcast network. Trey Heiser, Corey Burning, and Parker Williams are the 3 men due up. Top of the 6 is where we are in this ball game. Raiders up 1-0 as Trey Heiser begins his at-bat with a 1-0 count. This is belted foul. Just right on top of the strike plate it bounces. 1-1. Colby Davis still on the mound. This is his second inning of work as a reliever for the Riverdale starting pitcher Trent Clark. Pitch outside makes it 2-1. And that offering is chipped out to shallow center field. 1 out as Brendan McNabb backtracks to it and just traps it inside the tip of the glove. F4 is how that will go down in the scorebooks.
Batting next for Naples, pitcher number 9, Corey Burning.
And here's Corey Burning, 1 for 2 on the day. Base knocked back in the first and a 4-3 ground out in the third. High flyer out to right field. And nobody's able to see that one drop down. Out of Pringle Field that goes. And one thing I like to bring up is that we have the Veranda neighborhood out in right field. Hack and a miss. And the Veranda, they do have a golf course out there, so it wouldn't surprise me if you see a few baseballs out there land. Here's a big wave and a large miss there for Corey Burning. Forwards K for him.
Batting next for Naples, designated hitter number 18, Parker Williams.
And it's Parker Williams, hoping to keep Naples away from that 3-up, 3-down situation at the top half of the 6 here. Davis rocks it home with a strike 1.
He wanted that. Should have went to take the cut and was 3/4 of the way there.
Another one on the way. This is a looper to second base. Getting to it is Daniel Kaler, the shortstop. Rips it to first where Palmquist is standing. And there's your 3 outs, which brings us to the bottom half of the 6. Raiders keep that 1-0 lead. Tyler Gertman will head to the plate. Bottom of the 6 is where we are in this ball game. 1-0 Raiders lead over Naples. First pitch is the first out. Bottom of the 6 as the first baseman steps on the bag. That's Andrew Wright providing the out. Matisse Bober
Next batter, left fielder number 8.
now swaggers on up from the on-deck circle.
Bober.
Bober with a nice heater coming his way, and he can't get the bat off his shoulder. Strike 1.
Come on, buddy. Come on now.
That fastball from Burning really got a nice reaction from the crowd there. Despite his team trailing by a 1-0 score, he has really been leaning in.
He's come on strong the last the last 2.5 innings.
Next one just bangs off the right elbow of Matisse Bober. That's the first man on for Riverdale here at the home half of the 6.
Batting next, center fielder number 9, Matt Hardy.
And Matt Hardy is up next in the order. Believe it or not, that runner over on first, Bober, he is the first Riverdale base runner to get on board since the home half of the 2nd. Back when Riverdale scored their one and only run thus far here in this game. Ever since the second, however, the third, fourth, and fifth were 3 up, 3 down innings for Riverdale. And here's a very impressive steal over the second by Matisse Bober, standing up that time around. And Doug Bellinger, the Naples catcher, he got up out of his crouch, tried to transition the ball.
Looked like he couldn't get a grip to throw, and that's when he started shaking his head no.
Yeah, he was trying to transition the ball between the glove hand and his bare hand and couldn't even get it off, as here's an impressive fastball strike.
Hardy had to duck down to keep from getting hit and dropped in for a strike.
So a man on second here for Riverdale. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Raiders up by 1. It's whacked out to left field. Does it get down? No, it will not. Rushing forwards to retrieve it was Darius Bradley with some great timing there to retire Hardy.
Your next Raider batter, first baseman number 10, Carson Palmquist.
And it's Carson Palmquist trying to keep things going right now with 2 men down. Tyler Prell on the on-deck circle right now for the Raiders. This is gets barely offsides there.
He was just outside. He tried to curl it in. 7-2. The 7th. Strike.
Here's a strike registered to Palmquist, 1-1. Right now over on the softball fields, over our left field wall here on the baseball complex. Looks like a 7-2 Naples score at the moment in the 7th inning. So Naples looking impressive out there on the softball field. Up and away is yet another ball.
Up and away. Beautiful, Anyway.
Leg whip and fire.
3-1.
High and dry. Counting out 3 balls and 1 strike to Carson Palmquist.
Come on, big boy. He's got 30 now.
His third at-bat of the ball game. He had a base hit, home half of the second, and a 4-3 putout in the 4th. Looking to get on base for the second time of the night. Can he do it here? Well, this just misses, and that's a base on balls for Palmquist as he's able to get his objective that time. Tyler Prell, here's his chance to extend this 1-run lead potentially for the Raiders. And he gets a signal from Riverdale head coach Bobby Pringle. Meanwhile, the Naples manager Jimmy Nocera comes out and he gets a meeting on the mound going, and it looks like this is a change for Naples up on the mound. Right now we're just waiting for the official signal here on a new pitcher coming in. And it looks like everyone stays the same. There is no pitching change. And that wouldn't be a crazy thing for Nocera to do something like that in a time like this. It's late in the game, bottom of the 6th, and your team is only down by 1 run. So this game certainly is not over, although Naples has not had the lead thus far at any point in this game. But Prell has a good chance to get something going here. 2 down, however. Signals for a bunt. A little bit of a crazy situation there. It's a double steal, which pays off well for the Raiders. Now you have men on third and second for Tyler Prell. Tyler Prell.
Catcher wanted to throw down so bad that he took his eye off.
Gets in the dirt.
Yep, let it get in the dirt, that's all she wrote.
Ooh, it almost hit Prell, but it gets in the strike zone. Just barely. Corey Burning still looking calm and patient on the mound right now. Despite 2 runners in scoring position for the Raiders, here's Prell calling time yet again. And that's what this Raider team wants. Prell needs to take his time, relax, and look at things from a different perspective, and he looks at a nice strike 2 that time around.
All right, brother, you got to go with it now. You got to protect, be smart. There's some junk, couple jumps at you anyway.
So Corey Burning trying to eliminate Prell, which would put down the home half of the 6th. Swing and a miss. Runners stranded on 3rd and 2nd, but 6 innings are complete. It's Riverdale 1, Naples 0, and Riverdale can end this game in the next 3 outs if they can hold that lead. We'll see if they can do it after this break on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Top of the 7th, it's crunch time for the Naples Golden Eagles. They are down 1-0, and Doug Bellinger gets a leadoff base hit out the center field.
Did I say 7th or 6th?
We are at the top of the 7th.
That was me again. I think I said 6th. Oh well.
And we have a courtesy runner coming on over on first base.
Hanson, number 37, now running at first base. Next batter in the top of the 7th for the Golden Eagles, third baseman number 10, Marcus Paguro.
So Hanson is back out into this game.
Figuri.
Over on first base, Paguri gets near the plate. He's signaling for a bunt. Hanson with a very small leadoff. Throw the first is not in time after a pitch outside coming to Paguri. 1-0 to him.
Come on, guys.
Hanson once again representing the tying run. This is the second time of the ball game where he has been a courtesy runner out on the base pads. Colby Davis still up on the mound, trying to clinch the save here at the top half of the 7th inning. Once again, it's been a pitcher's duel all the way throughout regulation. 1-0 Raiders, after getting a go-ahead run at the home half of the 2nd very early on. Once again, bases loaded situation. It was Michael Connor getting hit in the helmet with a pitch, which brought home Palmquist. Ball 2, and another throw over the 2nd, which does not do any damage to Hanson. He's able to dive back in time. And right now, Paguri, he's signaling for bunts constantly, and then holding back once Colby Davis releases his windups. And you can tell it's really beginning to mess with Davis a little bit. Here's just a throw over the first. Not much goes along there. But either way, Davis, he wants to keep Hanson over at first. That's the goal. Keep him from extending into scoring territory, which is easier said than done. Naples trying to strike and tie it up. Here's a bunt down the first base side. Davis scoops it up, throw the first, and 1 down at the top of the 7th. 1-3 in the scorebooks for Marcus Paguri, and Andrew Wright now moves his way on up with a runner on second.
14, Andrew Wright.
So right now, Colby Davis. This is a battle between pitcher and catcher from this point on. Ooh, just got a tip of that ball that time around with a late swing, but it's chopped foul, 0-1 to Wright. Had a nice full swing there, but he was just a second too late that time. Riverdale head coach Bobby Pringle comes out from the dugout and he's signaling to some of the players out there. Giving us signals, making sure everyone out there is paying attention.
222 is the call. 222 is the call. Straight up defense.
Infield playing close together here for Riverdale. Davis winds and releases, and here's one towards the press box. 0-2 is now the situation to Andrew Wright. Up here in the press box of Pringle Field at Riverdale High School, we are just above the concession stands. So we're on the second floor, high atop the action. Nice view back behind home plate, as here is a pitch low and at the knees. 1-2 to Andrew Wright. Situation getting a bit tense here. 1 on, 1 down, top of the 7th. Raiders lead by 1. Game started at 7 o'clock. It's now 8:45 p.m. here in Fort Myers. The next delivery, swing and a miss.
Got him.
Down goes Andrew Wright for out number 2. Raiders just 1 away from clinching a victory. Michael Stedman hoping to tie it up.
Center fielder number 23, Michael Stedman.
So Hansen once again the runner over on second. And he's trying to intimidate the pitcher Colby Davis right now. And he's looking as if he's going to take off to third, and that's a silly thing to do. If I were Davis, that would not be something on my mind at the moment. Here's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Rips it home, strike 2. Oh man, Michael Stedman got blown away there as he's looking frustrated in the left hand of the batter's box.
I didn't like the call, but it caught the corner.
Colby Davis hoping to put this one down, but this is a pitch way outside.
Yeah, he wanted to see if he's going to bite. And he didn't.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to entice Stedman there with one on the outside corner. Another one on the way. Swing and a miss. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your ball game in the 2-game season series between Naples and Riverdale.
Your final score.
The Raiders take both.
The Naples Eagles 0.
Back on February 22nd at Terry Park, Riverdale won 6-5. And tonight they get yet another district win. 1-0 is your final score. And 7 innings of play. And Riverdale, they advance on the overall record 6-1 and the regular season standings. Naples drops down to 3-3.
At the ball game. Good night, everybody.
And as a result of this game, both teams are now 1 win and 1 loss when it comes to your standings in Class 7A, District 12. So Riverdale picking up their first district victory of the season versus Estero in what was a hard-fought game. Hansen gets stranded over on second, and Colby Davis gets to close. The second pitcher of the ball game for Riverdale after Trent Clark was your starter. And what was very impressive was you had Corey Burning hang in there for 7 full innings for Naples. So this is the true definition of a pitcher's duel. Riverdale comes out 1-0. And ladies and gentlemen, your next Raider baseball game is Thursday, March 16th versus the Heritage Mountaineers of Maryville, Tennessee. Long road trip coming up for them. 7 p.m. first pitch right here at Pringle Field on the campus of Riverdale High School in Fort Myers, Florida. Meanwhile, Naples, their next game will be tomorrow at the Golden Gate Tritons at 7 p.m. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your ball game. Once again, Raiders prevail over Naples for the second time and final time of the season. 1-0. This is Nick Rush giving you the play-by-play action throughout the night on the Riverdale Raiders Broadcast Network. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night and a safe beginning to the upcoming weekend. Thank you all for tuning in.